Hey my lovelies, how you guys doing? I hope you guys are blessed, that you have a blessed 2026, that this year will be full of abundance, of joy, and yeah, I just hope you have a great year. I want to say sorry for the previous videos and vlogs. They took forever to upload, so if you haven't seen them yet, I've already posted them. There were so many technical issues and difficulties, but God willing that this year everything will change, that I will have a team. But today I actually want to talk about Qenda, because I've had quite a few people DM me asking me, do I still take it? What was it like? What were my symptoms? So I want to address that today. So Qenda is a globally trusted brand known for providing pure, nutrient-rich organic herbs and whole foods. What sets Qenda apart is its commitment to quality. Every ingredient is carefully sourced from regions around the world with the ideal climate for that crop, ensuring maximum potency and nutritional value. Each ingredient is tested for color, taste, texture, smell, and strength. And every batch is independently laboratory tested. The goal is simple: clean, organic, whole foods that genuinely support the body. Why Qenda? Why did I take Qenda? So the reason why I took Qenda was because of the testimonies behind it. The person that had Crohn's disease and was given the lecture was talking about how he had so many issues and similar issues to myself, and he was able to get healed from this product. So I thought, why not? I've tried everything else and nothing has worked, so I want to try this product. And I'm going to share some of the testimonies that he provided, and I'll provide it on their website down below. How I discovered Qenda. So I actually discovered Qenda when I was seeking the Lord in 2022, and I had no idea. I didn't know anything about Qenda, but I had tried so many different things prior to that, and nothing really worked. As in, it worked for a bit, but there was no true transformation or true results. I still had to have so many products to be able to feel good to some degree. Yes, I felt better than when I first got H. pylori. So the reason why I took Qenda was because I got H. pylori, but that never made a true impact in my life. So with Qenda, I discovered it through this Mind, Body and Spirit Festival. Prior to that year, I used to go every year because I was very much into the spiritual world, the new age way of thinking. But in that year, even though I was in disobedience to the Lord, I was still able to find something that was actually going to help me. And when I went to that festival, when I went to that lecture and that stall, when he spoke, what really sold it for me was the fact that it was science-based. So there was no spirituality behind it. There was no, oh, this is like energy. No, it was all science-based and all sourced, and everything was researched and tested prior to that. So that's what sold me. So the reason why I took Qenda was because I was struggling with H. pylori, so Helicobacter pylori, which affects the stomach lining. So Helicobacter pylori is a bacteria that infects the stomach lining. It can cause inflammation, ulcers, and digestive pain. And in some cases, it may lead to more serious complications such as cancers. For me, it caused constant discomfort and made eating extremely difficult. The reason why I took Qenda was because I had symptoms such as acid reflux, waking up at the night, choking at night, hair loss, brittle nails, extreme brain fog, indigestion, and inflammation. I had irregular bowel movements, very low energy, and mood swings, irritability, weight loss, and poor sleep. So when I got H. pylori, this really impacted my life, as in everything. There was a lot of things that I couldn't do, places I couldn't go, because I was constantly feeling sick. And the reason why I took this, because I tried everything and nothing seemed to work. It worked for a bit, but then after that, it didn't make any real impact long term. Yes, I can more or less deal with it, but it wasn't a life. You were constantly on different types of medication, and everywhere I had to go, I had to take all these medications, which just made it unbearable. So in 2022, I hit the breaking point, because not only was my health impacted, but so was the fact that I lost my stepdad, so my dad. And everything was just falling apart in life. And in 2022, I decided to seek God. And once I decided to seek God, I started to see some improvement. And during that year, that's when I stumbled upon the Qenda. So I stumbled upon this, yes, in the Mind, Body and Spirit Festival. Even though I don't believe in those things now, I see that the Lord can still see you in your disobedience. because after that, the Lord was able to take me out of that, show me that that is not the place I need to be. But this product in itself, it actually helped. And after that, I can wholeheartedly say that once I started taking it and actually seeking the Lord in that process, that I started to see improvement. I was actually able to eat. I got to the point where I couldn't even have fruits and vegetables. Now I can have fruits and vegetables. I'm not 1,000%, but the Lord has revealed to me this is not something that's just physical, it's also spiritual, and something that's here and here. And those are only the things that the Lord can fix. But Qenda has been a huge support in that process, and I know that I was led to have that, and it really helped me, and there's so many testimonies to show that it's helped others. It says in His Word, the Bible shows us that God meets us even when we are not fully walking with Him. But God demonstrates His own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Romans 5:8. Jesus also healed those who were overlooked and suffering, like the man by the pool who couldn't reach the water in time. Jesus healed the man who had been ill for 38 years, not because of his perfect faith or timing, but because of mercy. John 5:8. Jesus healed on the Sabbath, showing compassion over rules. So yeah, God met me right where I was, even before I fully surrendered my life to Him. What did I take before Qenda? So I took a multitude of things. I did Chinese medicine, I did naturopathy, I did so many different things. But most importantly, nothing actually truly worked. I did it for a while, it worked for a bit, but I had to take so many medications to see some sort of improvement. And even then, I didn't feel 100%. At the time, I felt as if it was a huge progress, because in comparison to what I was dealing with before, of course it was a big change. However, it wasn't actually living. I had to take so many medications to be able to just function properly. And even then, I wasn't okay. I still had the brain fog. I still felt dizzy. I still couldn't sleep. I was still choking on myself at night. I was still having hair loss, brittle nails. Nothing actually improved until I took Qenda and until I started seeking God. How long did I take Qenda for? So I took Qenda for the recommended period. I think it was 3 to 4 months. And then after that, I've been taking everyday Qenda. So this is what's meant to help the support after the whole cleansing and getting rid of all these parasites and healing the stomach lining. I take everyday Qenda, so I take it once a day, every other day, and I've still seen that it's been a massive improvement. That and making sure I'm eating right, exercising, and also seeking the Lord every day. These are the things that have helped me along my way. What did I eat during Qenda? Well, at the initial stages, I still ate more or less the same things I had, which was rice, chicken. Over a while, over time, I've been able to implement more food. But during the time I took the initial stages of Qenda, so the 3 to 4 months, I more or less stuck to the same things because I wanted to see the improvement. I can honestly recall that I felt such alleviation during that time because I can actually enjoy the food and eat it without pain. Because prior to that, it was forcing myself to just swallow, whereas then I can actually just normally eat. Of course, time has gone on. I've been able to eat a variety of different food now, but I still make sure that I eat a more whole-based diet, because anytime I do eat things that are not very healthy, then I can see that their flare-up does come up. But I have spoken to the Lord, and I know this has more to do with my heart and healing in my heart. Would I recommend Qenda to someone suffering with H. pylori or gut health issues? I would 1,000% recommend it. However, you need to check with your doctors or your health practitioner, because I'm not a doctor, and have some discernment to see if this is something that you should take, and ask the Lord if this is something that you should take. Because for me it was, and for me it's helped. What lifestyle changes I would recommend alongside Qenda? So I would recommend that you eat whole food, clean food, that you reduce greasy, fatty, oily, sugary, spicy food, or things or food that you cannot tolerate. So at least it can do its job, cleaning getting rid of all parasites, bad bacteria in your stomach, as well as healing your stomach. What I also recommend would be to do regular exercise, even if it is walking. What I would also recommend would be to pray, because most of the issues are actually spiritual, heart-based issues as opposed to physical issues. So I definitely highly recommend prayer, because at least for me, it's worked for me, because I've seen so many things that the Lord has revealed to me. So my final thoughts with Qenda. I 1000% recommend it if this is something that you're looking for to heal your gut, if you have parasites, whatever it may be. However, I always recommend to check with your health practitioner, your GP, whoever that may be. Have discernment, because what works for me may not work for you. And secondly, this product has helped significantly, but it's the Lord that does the work. And the reason why I say that is because once I got the product, and as I was walking with him, is when I saw improvement from not being able to sleep, choking on myself at night, having 3 to 4 hours of sleep, not being able to use the loo, not being able to swallow, not being able to drink, not being able to have food, not being able to have fruits and vegetables for 2 to 3 years, I think it was, not being able to go out, socialize, not being able to have a normal life for such a long time, having constant pain on my chest because of the acid reflux, constant brain fog, making it difficult to really be present. All of that because the Lord has healed. And I would love to go deeper into that, because it is amazing what the Lord has done. But I want to just talk about Qenda product in this video. But yes, the Lord has definitely helped a lot, because the closer I get to him, the more that he reveals. There's a lot of things in my heart that has been stopping certain process. It's not easy, and you may be going through that. I don't know, you may not be going through that. So maybe this product would just work like this. But for me, that's what's happened. And the Lord has revealed to me, because I remember at the beginning, I had an encounter with God, and I said, Lord, but I'm not 1000%. Yes, this product helps me to actually digest now and, do everything else that the body needs to do. However, I'm not 1000%. And then the Lord will reveal, there's still this, you did this, you went here, you did, and having to repent, having to truly go to the Lord. And as he's healing those areas, I'm seeing actual improvement. There's one thing, I used to fear men, as in I was terrified of men. And because of this, I couldn't eat in front of guys, or I'll get scared or anxious, so anxious to the point that I couldn't eat in front of them. And that's something that he's slowly been healing. And now I can, because God is good. But that is not the actual H. pylori. It's fears that we don't even know we have, or we may know, but we're not conscious to it, or we don't act on it. How can we get healing in these areas? And when we become conscious and bring it to the Lord, he brings healings in these areas. He shows us where that root is, and we may not know where that root is. That's when we need to ask the Lord to show us, so he can start bringing healing in those areas, so those things can break. There won't be no strongholds in those areas, and then there can be freedom. So yeah, I hope you guys like my video. It's been a lengthy one, and there's been a lot of information, a lot of vulnerability in this video, but I hope that it does help someone, because I know when I was in that position, I would have loved to have this information instead of struggling and looking for so many different other things. And I tried a lot of these other things, and they didn't work. They worked for a bit, but they didn't actually work. Whereas this, I can see how the Lord is working. So yeah, I hope you guys liked my video. Like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you guys till the next one. Bye.